The discovery that powers nuclear reactors. The discovery that made atomic bombs possible. The discovery that changed the fate of humanity was made by a woman who never received the Nobel Prize. She did the hardest part. She solved the impossible problem. And then history walked past her. Her name was Lise Meitner. And this is one of the greatest injustices in science history. A woman against the system. Lise Meitner was born in 1878. At that time, women were not encouraged to study physics. They were forbidden. Universities told women, "Physics is not for you." Laboratories told them, "You do not belong here." But Meitner refused to accept that. She became one of the first women in Europe to earn a PhD in physics. Not because the system helped her, but because she fought it. When she moved to Berlin to work as a physicist, she wasn't allowed to enter through the main door. She worked in a basement lab. No salary, no title, and no recognition, only ideas. And her ideas were dangerous. The partnership that hid the truth. In Berlin, Meitner teamed up with a chemist named Otto Hahn. For 30 years, they worked together. Hahn ran the chemical experiment. Meitner explained what it meant. Everyone knew it. She was the brain behind the theory. He was the hands in the lab. But history loves simple stories and prefer male heroes. Together, they studied radioactive atoms, and they were about to crack open the atom itself. Exile, fear, and betrayal. In 1938, Germany changed overnight. The Nazis took control. Lise Meitner was Jewish. That meant she lost her job. She lost her protection. She almost lost her life. She became a fugitive. She fled Germany illegally, traveling with nothing but a small suitcase and her brilliant mind. She had no passport, no salary, no future. Letters became her lifeline. Snowy walks with her nephew, Otto Hahn, became her office. Even in exile, the world around her was falling apart. Friends disappearing, colleagues imprisoned, and a country that's embracing terror. And yet she refused to stop doing science. The discovery made in the snow. One day, Hahn sent a letter to Meitner. The experiment has failed. He had fired neutrons at uranium atoms, but instead of getting heavier, it split apart. Hans didn't understand it, but Meitner did. While walking through the snow in Sweden with her nephew, she paused. She pulled out her notebook, she did the math, and suddenly everything made sense. The atom had broken in two. Some mass was missing, and that mass had turned into energy. Using Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, she calculated the explosion inside the atom. She named the process nuclear fission. At that moment, the atomic age was born. Not in a lab, not in Germany, but in exile. By a woman that history would ignore. The Nobel Prize theft. Otto Hahn published the discovery, he removed Meitner's explanation. In 1945, the Nobel Committee awarded Otto Hahn alone. No shared credit, no footnote, and no apology. The Nobel Committee later defended their decision. They claimed that Meitner was just a theorist. But in physics, theory is not decoration. Without theory, experiments are noise. It was Meitner who explained why the atom split. It was Meitner who calculated the energy. It was Meitner who named the process. Without her, Hahn's experiment meant nothing. It wasn't a misunderstanding, it was a choice. The world reacts. Many physicists were furious. Niels Bohr openly credited Meitner. Enrico Fermi called the Nobel decision absurd. Albert Einstein referred to her as the true mind behind fission. But outrage fades, awards remain, and history usually follows trophies. Personal sacrifices. Exile didn't just take her laboratory, it took her identity. She went from leading physicist to unpaid researcher. Younger scientists passed her by, invitations stopped coming. While her discovery spread across the world, she lived quietly, almost invisible. The conscience of science. When the United States invited Meitner to work on the Manhattan Project, she refused. She said, "I will have nothing to do with a bomb." She dreamed of atoms healing humanity, powering cities, and advancing medicine, not to destroy it. When Hiroshima was destroyed, she was devastated. She had unlocked the power of the atom, but she refused to be its executioner. In a world racing toward destruction, Lise Meitner chose conscience over glory. History can lie, but science remembers. Today, nuclear power lights cities. Atoms heal patients. Physics textbooks quietly acknowledge the truth. An element is named after her, Meitnerium, but the Nobel Prize was never fixed. Lise Meitner changed the world, and history tried to erase her. Was Lise Meitner ignored because she was a woman, Jewish, or both? Comment. Thank you. Bye-bye.